Okay guys, so now that we've learned about the bevel tool and how inserting edges and just using the bevel function from the edit mesh menu can result in some pretty cool looking stuff, we're gonna basically start blocking out the different buttons in this controller. There are 3 different types of buttons, and we're gonna just put each one on a cube to talk about how it is we do it. So let's start with the D-pad, and I'm gonna do it a really inefficient way real quick to show you just to show you basically how not to do this, but how it could be accomplished if you were just brainlessly attacking this. So when I told you needed 2 edge loops for every edge to support it to make it look beveled or nice, basically that looks something like this when you're just using one tool, the insert edge loop tool. Now Maya has so many different tools that it's a shame to think that just using the insert edge loop tool would be all you need to do to make a nice hard surface model. So we define the edges with the edge loop tool. Okay. Then we hit Q to exit it. When we go to face mode, we selected these faces here. We select these 4 faces here that we just defined the D-pad with, and we're going to run the extrude tool now, and then we're going to hit W. We're going to hit R directly afterwards, and while holding control we're going to drag in from the center, and see that creates a nice little offset. Then we're going to hit extrude again, but we can actually, instead of just clicking the button over and over again, we can hit G to repeat the last tool, hit W, and then we're going to pull this in slightly, just barely, because what we just did is we created a supporting edge loop there and a supporting edge loop there for this edge right here, for this edge right here. We just supported that with our extrudes. Okay, so let's select these faces again, run the extrude, and we're going to pull it all the way to the very back, and then we're going to run the extrude again, because that is a supporting edge loop, one of the supporting edge loops for this edge here. And then once again we need to create an offset by holding control, hitting R and holding control. So now that is supported by those 2, that is supported by those 2, and then we can start bringing this thing up and out, which once again support your edge, and then run it again, bring it all the way out, support your edge again right there, support your edge with an offset just like that, and that's that. And then take a look at what you got. Okay, cool, that's really nice and crisp. Everything else is crap, but that's okay. So the way you would attack this next is you go, well, it's simple. I would just select the object and go edit mesh and bevel, right? And it'll bevel everything. Sure, look at how many edge loops that creates to do that. That's a crap load, and that's not that much different than just going, okay, well, this is my object and I need to support all these edge loops, and I was taught the insert edge loop tool, so that's the tool I'm going to use. And I'm just going to go to town here. I'm gonna just smooth this object up with edge loops everywhere I see an edge, and after a while, what do you think is going to happen? Look at all this geometry I'm creating in order to accomplish that. That's not the way to do this. So if I step back to right when I just created the D-pad, everything was good so far. Okay, that was the correct way to do this. But now what needs to go next, instead of just selecting the whole object, we only want to really bevel certain edges. So if I double click them, hold shift, and then continually double click all these corner edges, the ones that aren't beveled from actually doing the extrusion, just like that, and then I run the bevel tool on them, and I ensure by hitting the option box that it's at 0.5 width, 2 segments. Check it out, very cool. Let's go ahead and decrease those segments though. See over here we still have access to the bevel. I don't like how radius that is, so over here in the offset we can decrease that to 0.1, make it much crisper, hit 3, take a look at that. Oh yeah, really well defined. I like that. But don't be afraid of all this mess right now. We're gonna fix that, okay? And so hit 1 again, go ahead and go to the edges, and make sure to get all these edges too on the outside, just so our button render or our button prototype looks presentable. Okay, so it's not just absolutely radius to hell. Alright, all those, and let's run the bevel operation on those as well with the same options. Hit 3, and you see this is a great result with little to no resolution, but it looks like crap. What's going on? It's just the way the smooth preview is trying to attack the bevels. And so what you can go is go edit mesh crease tool, select all the edges, hold the middle mouse button, and drag to the right, and that creases all these subdivided edges into looking really great. So now your edges will appear very thin, very thick, and you'll barely be able to tell the difference between the subdivision mode and the non-subdivision mode, because not only is this really low poly, but it's smooth and it has some really cool data to the model. This is the correct workflow to get what we wanted. Okay, so we're going to continue this workflow for the other two buttons and see what we can come up with.